I'm gonna try to make this video somewhat make sense, and when it comes down to things, I ain't gonna necessarily try to do anything in this video that, you know, might make this a lot more harder to make it than it already is, because already this is like the type of video that I don't usually ever really want to make unless you would just want me to. But when it comes down to things, I'm just kind of tired of jokes like this, honestly. I kind of am, personally. Again, I'm not trying to make you believe anything, and I'm not saying this because I'm the most perfect person in the world. I'm really not. I make too many damn mistakes my damn self, much less I'm not flawless. You know I'm a lolicon and all that type of stuff, and then there's a lot of other shit as well. But when it comes down to things, it's just like, I'm dead ass kind of just tired of jokes like these where, you know, stuff like that kind of happens with, you know, Jaiden's situation. Which, if for people that don't necessarily know, basically, the simple thing is, Jaiden basically just mocks, like, Christianity and stuff like that. And as you know, I am one of those people that do believe in that. Which, you know, that's my decision. It is what it is. I've been raised in a church like that too. Which, you know, it is what it is. Again, I'm not trying to go super in deep in that because I know that's something that you guys probably don't want to listen to hear about, but it is what it is. Because, and the reason why I'm really kind of making this video, again, as I said before, I'm just kind of bored of that whole thing. Like, out of anything, it's just like, you can talk trash about that all day, but don't go after anybody else's religion. Like, can't say anything about Islam, or at least I don't see anything about that, much less Catholic or anything. And I don't want those religions getting disrespected either, but at the same time, it's like, but why is that always like the go-to, you know? That just feels always a bit weird to me. I can't necessarily lie. Now, whether or not you believe in Jesus and God and stuff like that, which I would say humanity must do, considering the fact that he's always there, constantly on TV, or even in the VTubing space, or even in marketing with different type of stuff, there must be some damn people that are out there that must believe the Lord in some shape or form. But when it comes down to things, it's just really annoying when people just make jokes, or it's just really annoying when people just kind of do and say whatever they basically want without any type of consequence, and then everybody's like, oh, it's fine, it's perfectly fine. No, actually provide a valid reason as to why it's fine, you know? And like, there's plenty of things I'm fine with, and I don't necessarily try to bother people with, because at the end of the day, people are going to make their choices. I don't necessarily care. It's not necessarily my business when it comes down to things, but when you're open about it, then it sort of does become my business, especially since, you know, I happen to believe in that sort of stuff, you know? And again, I know this is something that you probably don't care about, and I understand you click off the video right now, but when it comes down to things, it's just something that, I guess with that whole thing, it just kind of rubs me the wrong way personally. And granted, let's be perfectly honest, and I'll even be the first person to say it if really more people already have said it, but I'll say it again with them. The churches have not done their job. They have not done their job, because a lot of times they don't actually teach you what actually is real and what is actually the real message of what's going on, much less all they want to do is get your money and use it for other things and lie about, you know, being like called and pastoring and all this type of stuff, which the church has got a lot of work to do. But at the very same time, don't throw every Christian in the boat like that. Just don't. It just throws me off. The one thing is, I will never ever joke. This is like the one thing I will never ever really truthfully joke about at all. Like anything religionless, anything that has to do with religion and stuff, I just don't joke about that type of thing. Because to me, it's just the one thing I never want to touch, or at least really kind of go off the rails on, because at that point it's like a no return type of situation. If you're like believing in some other religion and stuff like that, I might not necessarily agree that it's something that, you know, it should be believed in, but I respect your decision nonetheless. If that's what you think is real and that's what you believe in, then it is what it is. I can't necessarily stop you, much less I'm not gonna say anything about it. But when it comes down to things, when it comes to a situation like this, it's a bit annoying, especially because this is a thing that people keep utilizing every single time it's like brought up. Cyberpunk, no damn different. There was a whole ass mission where someone was basically had a whole crucifixion moment, and then that's kind of like a whole thing in the game. Granted, I killed the person before that mission even started, and much less I didn't want to go with that person at all during that mission. So I was like, nah, I'm good on that. I'm not gonna necessarily be doing any of that, honestly, because a lot of times when there's some mockery or something like that happens, I'm often questioning it, and I'm just like, but why though? What is the purpose of it? Just to get a joke out? Was it just to, you know, make money off the idea? Like, what is the purpose of this? That's what I want to know for a majority of the time when anybody does kind of does that. It's like, what is the purpose of it? What do you personally get out of doing something like that? You know, that's kind of like my whole thing when it comes to it. Like I said, it's the one area that I just do not necessarily touch. And don't get me wrong, there has been many different things over the years that has caused, you know, many people to not really care for religion that much. And again, understandable, but again, it's just the one part of the things I just don't necessarily touch. You can literally talk trash about anything any day. That's just the one thing I don't necessarily like touching about. And like I said, I'm not a model citizen either. Like, I know there's some people be like, well, what about, you know, you say you hate Jaiden or you don't like her like that because she did this, but what about love thy neighbor? There's also a part of it called being human. If I want to beat someone's ass with a hammer because they pushed me too far, I'm beating someone's ass with a hammer. Sure, it might not be the right thing to do, but I'm going to do it because that's just how it makes me feel at the end of the damn day. And then with her apology, talking about how she was slightly, well, not really sorry about it, honestly, let's be perfectly honest. Really, when it comes down to things, she was just making an excuse to bring up the idea of if the Lord is real in some shape and form, why did so much stuff happen to me? Okay, whether or not you believe this part, honestly, it is what it is. This is, again, up to you. But I'm just going to tell you what I know, and this is what seems to be the case, to be perfectly honest. But the reason why so much stuff happens, because, again, a lot of people do not get the basic understanding of this, is because either A, sometimes the devil can't come through, or B, majority of the time, it's because you allowed something to happen like this. Or it's because of your own actions that there's a consequence to things. Or C, it could be the fact that you're just being tested. Now, I don't know what it could be for her situation. I don't necessarily know. There probably is some things she done wrong. I wouldn't be surprised. But there's things that everybody has done wrong. And to be perfectly honest, punishment can come in multiple different forms. Whether it's a big one, or it's a small one. Or whether something's trying to test you in some shape and form to see how you kind of act out and, you know, kind of become down the line, you know? A lot of shit can be a thing and a concept for stuff to kind of happen, especially when it comes down to things. And this is another part you might not necessarily believe, but even the devil has to ask for permission to God to be like, yo, this person keep messing up constantly, can I like mess with them and stuff? And literally get permission, whether it's a yes or no, to let that kind of thing happen. So when it comes down to things, yeah, the Lord will allow certain things to happen, but only if you're like from what I understand, like you're a repeat offender, or you're like someone that really doesn't aim to be better or try to do anything good. Like, if you got to get wiped out in order to get something to happen, you know, you're going to get wiped out. It is what it is. But in majority of cases, even with, you know, things getting super duper bad, that's like in a rare case where that honestly will happen, where permission is needed. Majority of the time, it's humans doing human things, and that's essentially what it is. And I know somebody's probably gonna be screeching at me like, well, Jay, it's just a waste of time. Why do you believe in such nonsense? Well, I have a few reasons why. There's a few personal ones, but there's like one I will share, which, hell, I've shared it with you before. When it comes down to things, the only reason why I still continue to go for it is, well, yes, I was raised in it, but there's been times I often question whether what this is right or wrong at times. I have questioned it before, and every time I question it, something happens where ain't nobody else that can bring, you know, any type of explanation, not even a scientific one. No one else can bring up a good explanation as to why that something happened but the Lord, in my personal opinion. When it comes to my drawing, that is something that I discovered through, you know, Jesus and everything like that. Because for the longest time, I haven't never drawn anything ever since I was in elementary school. I haven't drawn anything in a very long time, back when I went to high school, you know? Like, I stopped drawing when I was like in 3rd or 4th grade. So, and that was only with like stickman and tracing over stuff. And I don't trace that often. I never really drew anything that often. So imagine my surprise when 9th grade, I think, where it came through, where I actually drew a full-blown character with full details and everything. And I was kind of surprised by this, because I'm like, what is this? How? Because I was very just confused on the whole entire thing, and the only thing I can think of is the Lord. That's the only thing I can think of when it comes to that situation. Just like, how can I draw or at least actually pull off something off paper like this? It's only coming from one place that I can personally think of that makes sense. And that's not like the only thing. There's been other times where unbelievable stuff has happened to me and my family, and then how does some of that stuff get explained? There is no explanation, no earthly one at least, and it's just like, how does this kind of work? And we only can look at one place, and that's essentially how it is for us. And again, I know it sounds crazy and it sounds a bit unbelievable, but that is what it is just for us, you know? To be perfectly honest, I don't think anybody's opinion would ever dissuade me from actually believing in the things that I personally believe in, you know? Again, if you don't like it or if you don't necessarily want to believe in it, fine, that's your decision. That's perfectly fine. I just ask that you respect mine as well as I respect yours. That's it. There is often a lot of times where people will do things or say certain things that I don't necessarily agree with, but I'm not necessarily going to come through and just tell you what to do and how you live your life. That should be up to you and what you decide on, and whether or not, you know, you actually figured out what the hell is going on and what you should try to do. That's going to be up to you. I'm not going to say a word. I'm just going to watch and see, because that just is what it is. I'm not the type of person that's going to go out there and try to correct you like, actually, you're not supposed to do that because the Bible said so. I'm not going to be that type of person to you. I'm not. Because at the end of the day, you're an adult. You have your own brain. You can believe in it if you want to, or you can believe in something else if you want to. Doesn't necessarily matter to me. It is what it is at the end of the day, and it's your decisions. And honestly, with her talking about, you know, the Rule 34 art that's being made of her and all that type of stuff, I'm gonna be very, very clear when it comes down to things. If this is the problem that you be having, I think majority of people, and you have money, I think majority of people would not care about this problem in the slightest. I'm pretty sure they would not give a damn in the damn slightest. They got money. The hell are you complaining for? This could be a very different situation if people were trying to rob you, or like some other thing that you actually needed because you don't have the money for it. But you are rich. You practically got money. Majority of people probably ain't gonna never see that much money that you got in a lifetime. It's unfortunate, but it is true. And you talking about Rule 34, it's the thing that, you know, that makes you not want to believe in anything. That is the most saddest shit I've ever seen. The most saddest excuse, honestly, for anything. I'm gonna just be very honest with you. It is what it is. Like, bro, if I'm going to go in Kokatsu, right, and actually have like Jaiden's character and her mom character, and literally just put them in a nun outfit and have Jay just straight up bang the characters, which I'm honestly thinking about doing, then bro, that's not the biggest deal. It is literally not the biggest deal. There is plenty of things and plenty of situations I could think of that'd be 10 times worse for you to be in than just that. And if people are fine with certain forms of fiction and media being, you know, okay and being fine and, you know, shouldn't be shut down, or like even go as far as with those realistic games, I think Unrecord, I think that's the game that's like super realistic that people are talking about, and that's like a whole controversy in itself about being super realistic. If people are fine with this game, then making hentai and all that type of stuff on Jaiden should also be perfectly fine. It might not be the one thing that one person wants, but at the very same time, who cares? It's just one person. It's not that big of a deal. Much less you're not hurting the person, and the person doesn't need to be hurt. I don't want to see anything bad happen to them, obviously. But when it comes down to things, if it's literally a fictional character that does not matter in the grand scheme of things, then it is what it is. Hell, if you want to gut Jay's character and bring out his intestines, then fine. It is what it is. It's a picture at the end of the damn day. Because guess what? It's fiction. I might not necessarily like it and must not necessarily care for it, but at the same time, at the end of the day, it is a picture. It is literally fiction. From all intents and purposes, from what I understand, and literally this whole entire video, from what I get, this is the only thing I would say that if you don't pay attention to anything else I said, or really take anything into consideration of what I said before, again, live your life the way you want to live your life. I'm not here to stop you. But when it comes down to things, of all the things I've really said that I really want people to understand and really take seriously, is I want people to start literally reflecting on themselves. Literally pay attention to what you do, understand what you do, and try to be like, be better than what you were. Like, honestly, that's what I want people more so to do. You know, whether you believe in Christianity, cool, great. Honestly, that's a win. That's honestly like a win for me, and I would like to see that. But if you don't, and you just reflect on yourself, that's fine too. Because at least at that point, at least you're not running wild and saying a whole bunch of things, you know, that you obviously know is going to start up a controversy or start up some nonsense or something of the sort. Again, I know that this might be like a thing that I shouldn't be complaining about or really making a whole ass video on and stuff like that. But at the same time, I'm just kind of tired of it, honestly. Like, if we got this that can be talked about, done dirty and all this type of stuff, and literally you're not supposed to get offended by this, then why can't we do the same thing with other stuff that's, you know, people do and then make jokes on? But we gotta get so offended by that. Like, you know how many freaking jokes that we could possibly make about other religions or other people's, you know, preferences and how they, you know, live their life, such as LGBT stuff. You know, there's been plenty of jokes that people could say. There's definitely some words that people could say, but oh, we say that and that's like a bad thing that we can't necessarily do, which is wild as hell to me, because if we can do one thing, I say everything is off the damn table. Let's just go in on every little thing. But to end all this, like I said, I don't want to see anything bad happen to Jaiden. I don't want to see anything, you know, negative go through when it comes our way. You know, if shit happens like the Rule 34 and that continues onward and stuff, hell, her fans be going so far as to threaten the lives of people that make the Rule 34 art anyway, which gets no sympathy over here. But when it comes down to things, if, you know, more Rule 34 art ends up happening, it is what it is. It's fine. It doesn't necessarily matter. And it might be a well-deserved ass whooping going to her direction anyway. So it is what it is. But that's basically really what I wanted to say for this one. Again, I'm sorry I had to make this video because I don't usually make videos like this. And I really try to keep my mouth shut when it comes to certain things like this. But I'm just kind of tired of it because every time I see this type of thing, it just makes me feel weird inside. You know, and I try to steer clear when things like this even happen anyway. Is why I never brought up anything when it comes to like the VTuber that was trying to roleplay as Jesus and stuff. I just blocked them and move on because I'm just like, nah, this is not it. This is the one thing I just don't play about. But yeah, that's literally about it, honestly. I'm not necessarily gonna lie. Again, this is not what we usually talk about. I was actually planning to talk about Master Detective Archives Rain Code because I'm a bit worried about that game, but this was just this just irked me a little bit. I'm not necessarily gonna lie, so it is what it is. If you think differently about me because of this video, then it is what it is. Again, you live your life the way you want to live it. I'm going to live mine the way I want to, and you know, it is what it is. And for some people that be like, well, Jay, ain't Christianity like really tough, and like ain't it like something that you don't really want to do? Yes, there's been plenty of times where I don't want to deal with this half the time, you know? There's been plenty of times where it's just been ridiculously rough. Right now, I'm living through some of the roughest lifetime I ever had. But you know what? The roughness builds that character, you know? Sometimes when you get bullied in school, which honestly it sucks, but it also can help build your character. Even though it sucks, it can do that if you're strong enough to, you know, endure it, which I've endured a lot of shit. But when it comes down to things, again, that's basically all I really want to say. Let me stop talking because this video is going to get really long for no reason. And yeah, when it comes down to things, if you'd like to donate to the channel, Patreon is a thing, is available. Again, if you want to subscribe, that's a thing that you can do. And Twitter is also in the description. Again, live the life you want to. I'm going to live mine the way I want to personally. And, you know, believe in whatever you believe in or don't believe in anything. That's fine too. But again, just reflect on yourself, make your decisions, because those decisions are just the things that will follow you for the rest of your life. And if you get consequences out of it, you get consequences out of it. It is what it is. But that's basically all I really want to say, I guess. And until then, it's your boy Jay, sign off. Again, I don't really like making videos like this, but it is what it is. And also, if you didn't know I was Christian, then at the end of every video, you know I say have a blessed day. So how did you not know? I don't know. That's just weird.